What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Now, just before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you so much for 1 million subscribers. It's been a hell of a journey over the last few years, but I don't think that we're just going to stop here. We want to go for 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, maybe even 5 million. Alright, maybe that's too many. There aren't even enough wrestling fans tuning into Smackdown that week. Now, this feat couldn't have been possible without the tremendous support ever since I started up this channel, along with my fantastic team. And of course, this would have never happened without you guys, so thank you so much. Shall I plan on doing the big face reveal? Or should I keep it a mystery? As one always says, a masked man never reveals his identity. But let me know what I should do in the comments down below to celebrate this huge milestone. 1 million subs. It's a dream come true. But we still got a video to do, so join us now as we look at the 16th October episode of Smackdown, as well as the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know, including, was Vince upset with Smackdown's season premiere? Is Donald Trump returning to the WWE? The real reason behind Goldberg's return? That time Vince McMahon tried to get CM Punk to drink? Becky Lynch at Smackdown, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now, as always, we won't recap the show, but just provide you with the good, the bad, and the downright ugly of last night's show. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, an intelligent monster heel. A Universal Champion Roman Reigns' use of the guillotine choke to defeat Braun Strowman continued the Tribal Chief's development as more than a muscle man. It was clear early on in the match that Reigns wasn't going to outmuscle the monster among men, so he devised a winning strategy, retaining his title. While Roman Reigns is being portrayed as a monster heel capable of inflicting as well as absorbing great amounts of punishment, he's also being portrayed as a cold, calculating ring general who knows how to use his strength when needed and also when to rely on whatever tools are needed to win. Number 2, a touching tribute. The New Day have been together for over 6 years, an incredible accomplishment in the promotion where tag teams rarely stay together for more than a week. Now, last night's tribute to the New Day showcased the relationship between Woods, Kingston and Biggie, reminding fans that the trio share more than a storyline relationship, they share deep and meaningful friendship. Number 3, more Bayley Banks hype. Last night's contract signing was a good step in the Sasha Banks-Bayley feud, with no one coming to blows during the signing, a rarity as fans know. Banks and Bayley have had enough physicality leading up to their match at Hell in a Cell, so this was a well-done way of showing Sasha Banks' feelings towards Bayley, reminding the fans how the boss helped Bayley's career from the very beginning, resisting the urge to turn on her and found herself betrayed nonetheless. Now, not every segment in the feud has to be about chair shots and carnage, otherwise there's the risk of burning fans out before the real money matches begin. Number 4, fueling the feud. Although SmackDown's tag team division is depleted following the 2020 draft, give them credit for quickly setting up a program between SmackDown tag team champions the Street Profits and the team of Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. Incredibly, they didn't have the Profits go over the challenges, instead setting things up for a rematch and hopefully for a feud. While Ziggler are two talented single stars, it's clear that WWE isn't going to do much with them in solo action. The two make an effective team and should be able to have an exciting program against the Street Profits, a talented team that deserves quality opponents in order to showcase their skills. But that was the good. What about the bad? Is number 1, Freak Out. Now, we know WWE is all about the smoke and hype, but did the announcers really and truly have to use the word freak 37 times? Reddit user CycloX1 counted this up, and while the figure may be slightly off, it doesn't surprise us given Vince McMahon's habit of driving a point into fans' head through not so subtle announcing. And for those wondering, Lars Sullivan's in-ring work isn't freakishly bad as some feared, but so far it doesn't seem to warrant the huge push that he's getting. Number 2, Mysterio vs Rollins over with no big ending. Are they scrapping the Mysterio family versus Seth Rollins feud? Well, the WWE gave the fans mixed signals as it seemed to be setting things up for a feud between the Friday Night Messiah and the newly returned Daniel Bryan. The Mysterios and Murphy showed up to dish out some punishment to Rollins when he bailed out of the ring after a beating from Daniel Bryan, but if this is the end of their feud, it's kind of anticlimactic. While some fans feel the feud has gone on long enough, why did the WWE bother drafting the Mysterios and Murphy to SmackDown if Rollins is jumping into a program with Daniel Bryan? Perhaps this is long-term storytelling and Bryan will lock up with Rollins down the road, but if not, it's an abrupt ending to the feud that's been raging for several months. Then again, this is the WWE and they drop storylines just like that. Just remember the SmackDown hacker or drop segments like Raw Underground. Number 3, where are the women? Last night's Smackdown was further evidence that things aren't looking good for the women of Smackdown unless your name is Bayley or Sasha Banks. We've been talking about SmackDown's fixation on Banks and Bayley, pushing the two to the detriment of the entire women's division during the build-up to their feud. We've also discussed how the duo are likely to be the focus of the Blue Brand's women's division as Bayley struggles to hold on to the SmackDown Women's Championship. So far that seems to be the case, as there were no women's matches last night, a disappointing sign for the newly drafted stars such as the Riot Squad, Natalya and Bianca Belair. Now there was nothing downright ugly about last night's show, but nothing major other than Roman Reigns' Universal Championship defense. SmackDown was surprisingly short on its matches, a change from a show normally filled with entertaining bouts. This was a surprisingly average show for a SmackDown season premiere, and it suggests WWE Creative is still trying to figure out what to do with much of SmackDown's new undercard. What did you guys think of SmackDown? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at the real reason behind Goldberg's return to the WWE. Now, Goldberg didn't come to the ring, but he was actually on SmackDown last night as eagle-eyed fans managed to capture him in the Thunderdome watching on. Now, Big Bad Bill showed some interest before the show, posting, "To say I have an interest in tonight's Universal Championship match on WWE Fox is an understatement. Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, I'll be joining the WWE Thunderdome tonight for the season premiere." And while you think that Goldberg was just there to watch on, it's actually a lot more than that. As you know, Goldberg was scheduled to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 36, but that match was changed to Goldberg vs Braun Strowman after Reigns pulled out due to coronavirus concerns. Now, his appearance on SmackDown helped him fulfill his contractual obligation to appear at a set amount of WWE shows, but also within that obligation, he has to wrestle at least 2 matches per year until 2022. Now, he's fulfilled that for 2020, but 2021 is coming up soon, and WWE more than likely wants to set up the match they intended to have with him at WrestleMania with the big dog. Just when that may happen is unknown, but it could be for the Royal Rumble. Next up is Vince upset with SmackDown. Now, Vince McMahon is a demanding boss with exacting standards he apparently felt were lacking in SmackDown's season premiere. Ringside News' Steve Carrier is reporting that the Blue Brand's production values were not up to the WWE chairman's expectations. He noted there was a bit of backstage chaos during the first hour of the show. Things ran along. Also, Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn were not happy about some missed shots that were not up to the WWE quality. As fans know, Vince McMahon prides himself on the WWE's superior production values, something which dates back to the early days of Saturday Night's Main Event, when Lorne Michaels and NBC's production team helped upgrade the WWF's TV production for network quality. Since then, WWE's slick look has helped it stand out against the competition, even when its in-ring product may have been inferior. But whilst Vince was unhappy with SmackDown, Triple H was praised for SmackDown. Now, even though Triple H concentrates on NXT, he was actually involved in last night's SmackDown. Steve Carrier tweeted, "One more exclusive tonight. We were told that despite the backstage chaos, a lot of the good stuff on tonight's show was because Triple H was there. We were told he included and helped make SmackDown much better after the first production meeting was over." Now, if he did help out as claimed, then the original show must have been a complete mess. Next up is Donald Trump appearing in WWE. Well, Lavi Margolin, the author of Trump Mania, Vince McMahon, WWE and the Making of America's 45th President, talked to Wrestling Inc. about the likelihood of Donald returning to the WWE. If he is elected, I think everything is out the window. He'll do more what he wants, and then if he's not re-elected and doesn't continue on, which aren't necessarily connected elements, he'll be back in the public eye, and that's one of the first places that will embrace him, and there's, from what I've heard, $450 million of debt to pay down, so whatever you can do, that's certainly a good way to make a couple million. Next up, Becky Lynch was at SmackDown. It looks like former Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch stopped by SmackDown to see her fiancé Seth Rollins. Ringside News noted that she was spotted backstage. Next up, has Benjamin Carter signed with WWE? It looks like rising star Benjamin Carter has signed with the WWE, as Carter, who impressed fans with his work in AEW, is believed to be WWE bound now. Current AEW star Miro, aka the former Rusev, discussed this on his Twitch stream saying, "We lost Ben Carter. Ben Carter is lost, he's gone to the dark side. So I mean, good luck to Ben Carter, all the best to him. I was really impressed with his stuff." Wrestling News' Paul Davis noted that Carter worked for free in AEW due to a visa issue, but apparently his work paid off in other ways thanks to it impressing both AEW and WWE. Current speculation has it that Carter will appear in NXT UK. And finally, did Vince try to get CM Punk to drink? Now Punk, well known for his straight edge lifestyle where he abstains from using drugs and alcohol, was apparently put up to the test by Vince McMahon during a flight to the Middle East. Chris Masters recently appeared on Hannibal TV and told a tale of how Vince was trying to peer pressure CM Punk into having a drink, and I wouldn't have really known what to do either if I was CM Punk, because part of me, maybe Vince is testing him to see if he could get CM Punk to break his will, and that'll make Vince lose respect for him or whatever, you know what I'm saying. And then eventually CM Punk wouldn't drink, and then eventually it went from CM Punk drinking to now, hey, if you're such a shooter CM Punk, how about you take on, I think it was first Shelton Benjamin, and then after it was Carlito, because Carly would not shoot, flirt, but kind of mess with Maria and flirt with her, and I'm pretty sure CM Punk and Maria were together again at the time. According to Masters, Shelton's amateur wrestling skills were too much for Punk, but the straight-edge superstar didn't succumb to Vince's invitation to disregard his beliefs. Now Vince McMahon's antics are well known and well documented in our videos, so this story really wouldn't surprise us. But there you have it guys, the good, the bad and the downright ugly from the 16th October Smackdown, along with the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, thank you for 1 million subs, and as always, I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.